What's up, winners? Nam here. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review on the X1 Smart credit card. It's been a while since I did a credit card review, but this one definitely has been receiving a lot of hype recently. So I was like, hey, why not? Let me do an in-depth review of this card too. Alright, so let's get right into it. So whenever you hop onto their website, it is very clean and well done. They advertise this card as the smartest credit card ever made. So let's be the judge of that. Probably one of the most impressive features about this card is that X1 says that they will give you a credit limit 5 times higher than traditional credit cards. So based off of their research, they said that the average total credit limit on a card is roughly around $8,000. So essentially with this card, you can get up to a $40,000 credit limit. I'm not 100% sure if they're gonna keep their word on this, but I really hope they do. I got approved for a credit card recently and they roughly give me around $19,000 of a credit limit. So if you take that times it by 5, that would be roughly around $100,000. That's a pretty sweet deal. You tend to see bigger limits with business credit cards because businesses, they tend to have higher expenses compared to personal expenses. They also state that the credit limit will be based on your current and future income. According to an article in Investopedia, they said that the application will result in a soft inquiry. This would mean that there would not be any negative effects on your credit score when you apply. The only way that I can imagine this actually working is if you link this card with your own personal bank account. This would allow X1 to see your cash flow. So on any credit card application, anybody could say that they're making $150,000 a year. The majority of credit card companies out there, they do not verify this information at all. As long as you pay this money back on whatever you spend, that's pretty much all they worry about. This income-based model can be a little bit tricky just because if someone makes a lot of money, does not necessarily mean that they are financially responsible. So it is very possible for people to rack up a lot of debt, much more than a traditional credit card. Moving on, this card also says that they will increase your credit limit automatically. I imagine if you have more deposits into your bank account, then you will get a higher credit limit. This is just a theory. They did not mention whether or not it would have to be linked to a bank account or not, but I'm guessing this is what they would have to do to make this work, so they need some more security when they're lending out credit. So now let's move on to the reward system. They will give you 2 times the points on every single purchase and 3 times the points for every single purchase for a year after you spend $15,000 in a year. They really did not mention whether or not when the 3x points will start. I'm not sure if this means after you hit $15,000 in 1 year from then, or just the remainder of that fiscal year. In addition to that, you can also earn 4 times the points on every single purchase for a month for every friend that you refer. They did give an example. If you bring in 4 friends, you get 4 times the points on every single purchase for 10 months. So the first step is to have friends. With a lot of fintech companies, they do like to offer free things or perks to get a lot of signups. If any of you guys are aware of the mobile trading apps such as ROBINHOOD or WEBULL, a lot of these apps, especially in the beginning, they were promoting free stocks for referrals just to get their app downloaded. A lot of them still do, just due to the fact that if they're not giving away free stocks, they will just have fewer signups. This is very similar to what X1 is actually doing, but with rewards. They have also done this with their waitlist. This credit card is expected to be released during the winter of 2020, but no one knows for sure if it will be released. But if you do sign up, for every referral you do get, you jump 500 positions closer to the front of the line. As for the referrals that you do get currently, this will only apply to getting closer to the front of the line rather than getting more months tackled on that 4x return. Alright, so now let's talk more about the point redemption. The thing about this card is that it is not a cashback card. Traditionally with cashback cards, you get the cash that you earn, then you deposit it into your account where you can pay off any balances. So whatever points that you do earn using the X1 card, you can redeem them at different type of retailers. So I'll put a picture on the screen right here of a bunch of different type of companies that I have currently partnered with. Some of the major ones are Apple, Delta Airlines, Nike, Airbnb, and JetBlue. The lineup that they do have is not necessarily bad, but if you never spend your money at any of these companies, then this card is basically worthless. Even if you don't refer anyone and don't spend that much money in a given year, that 2x point redemption really doesn't matter if you're not going to redeem them at any of these stores. To play this credit card game right, you got to spend money on things that you would have anyways. There's always an opportunity cost for everything. Similar to other credit cards, whenever you make a purchase at any of these companies, you can pay them off with your points. As of right now, we don't know for sure if there is a threshold that you have to meet before you can use them. Some credit cards, they tend to do this, which I find to be super annoying. But if this card does not have any threshold and you can start using your points right away after you make your purchases, this is definitely a great benefit. Now let's move on to some other perks. They allow for virtual cards. A feature with these virtual cards allows you to end free trials automatically with auto-expiring virtual cards. Can you say endless free trials? I see this as very interesting, but virtual numbers are nothing new. Capital One allows you to do virtual numbers, but having an auto-expiring feature is pretty dope. This credit card also allows you to cancel subscription payments in just 1 click. I feel like this is pretty helpful given the majority of people nowadays have at least a subscription to at least something. This could be Netflix, Spotify, or any of the other 100 subscription-based services out there. Some of the other perks include instant notification on refunds and it also allows you to attach receipts to your purchases. I really don't find this anything special, but it's just another thing that they would like to advertise. So now let's talk about the fees. So with this card, there's no annual fee, but they do have a variable APR ranging from 12.9 to 19.9%. This is something I really don't care about, just due to the fact that I always make my payments on time by every billing cycle, and this is just something that you guys should be doing as well. So anytime a credit card brings up a low APR, I really don't care. They also say that they have a 2% balance transfer fee. Since this is not a 0% APR card, I really don't care either. You shouldn't be doing balance transfers anyways, unless you're transferring to a 0 APR credit card. Even then, those 0 APR credit cards typically do have some transfer fees, but they do save you some money on that interest and give you more time to pay it off. Oh yeah, this card is also made out of metal. A metal credit card is the ultimate flex. They make sure that you guys know that this card is made out of metal. The likelihood of this card actually releasing is actually pretty high. This card is backed by a bunch of investors from Silicon Valley. They were early investors for Uber, Airbnb, Facebook, and Twitter, just to name a few. So now let's move on to what I actually think about this card. Starting off, if you're not a big spender and you spend less than $15,000 a year on this card, you only get 2 times the points back, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but there are other 2% cashback credit cards out there that you can get today. Also, you will not have to use your points at these specific retailers on the list, and you can just get them as statement credit. If you don't put more than 15K on this card, it's really hard for me to justify this card. Where it gets really interesting is the referrals. If you are able to get people to sign up, that 4x boost for 30 days is a big deal. This is something that I had never seen with any other credit card. The more common type of referrals are usually bonuses or some sort of cash. Because if you were to refer someone, you bypass having to spend $15,000 that year. After reviewing some articles, every 100 points can be worth 1 to 2 cents. So essentially for certain retailers, you can get up to an 8x return. But we really don't know for sure until the card actually gets released. One thing that I really do like about this card is that there is a flat rate for everything. This makes things so much simpler. It doesn't matter if you're going to spend on gas, grocery stores, or on travel. Since this credit card does not have any annual fees and you can get a high credit limit, this can definitely help out your credit score. Without the annual fee, you can just hold on to this card forever. Even if the reward system does change over time, this really does not hurt your score. And plus, since they hand out higher credit limits, this will further help out your credit score because your credit utilization will be much smaller. If you guys want to learn more about credit utilization and how to get the most out of paying your monthly payment, I'll post a link to the video up here. There's really no other card on the market that's similar to this card. Other cards such as the Apple Card, Bank of America Cash Rewards, or the Chase Freedom Flex has high redemptions, but usually for a particular category or retailer. If you don't shop in those certain categories, you really can't get those benefits. The only way around that is usually through manufacturer spend, where you just pile up on gift cards. Even though the X1 card does have a lot of pros, the hardest thing for me to wrap my head around is having to spend the points at specific retailers. Me being me, I really don't want to go out of my way to spend on things that I would not have done in the first place. The only companies that I would see using my points on would probably be from Airbnb, Hotel Tonight, and possibly Sephora. I personally don't shop there, but I do have a wife and she does shop there every now and then. Well, alright guys, that pretty much does it for me for the X1 credit card review. I also have a referral link down in the description. As a full disclosure, this video is not sponsored. I just think that this card is very interesting. I'll see you guys in my next videos.